Chapter 1. Banished to the Cold Palace from the beginning. Your Majesty, the Crown Prince secretly released the demonic girl from another country, he must be severely punished. Your Majesty, the Crown Prince is profligate and devoid of principles, he must be severely punished. Your Majesty, please dethrone the Crown Prince, and banish him to the Cold Palace. Your Majesty, the Crown Prince has no morals, please banish him to the Cold Palace. In the Great Hall of Government, every civil and military official had gathered. Each wore serious looks on their faces while pleading with His Majesty to dethrone the Crown Prince. The Emperor of the Yuha God dynasty sat on the throne. He looked at the confused Crown Prince whose cultivation had been wiped out and said coldly, "Approved. Remove Lin Jufeng's title of the Crown Prince and banish him to the Cold Palace. Without an imperial decree, he is not allowed to leave." A cold rebuke echoed in Lin Jufeng's ears. In a daze, he opened his eyes to find that he had been escorted to the door of the Cold Palace. "I've been transmigrated. I'm the Crown Prince of the Xuanwang Great World, Yuha God Dynasty, Lin Jufeng. 3 days ago, the Crown Prince was banished to the Cold Palace for secretly releasing the demonic girl from an enemy country. The public was outraged. The trial is today, and I transmigrated here today." Lin Jufeng couldn't help but smile bitterly. He transmigrated and became a crown prince in a world where cultivators reigned powerfully. With his standing in this world, he should have been able to effortlessly soar to the sky. But who would have thought that he would be banished to the Cold Palace, and his title as the crown prince would be taken away from him in a blink of an eye? Great sorrow and great joy truly were companions. In this world, he was deposed and banished to the Cold Palace. All these meant that Lin Jufeng would not be able to change his fate in this life. The palace in front of him had crumbling courtyard walls, exposed red bricks, and weeds sprouting from the base of the wall. No one bothered clearing them. The 2 stone lions at the entrances had broken claws and teeth. The place looked desolate along with Lin Jufeng's bleak figure. Not far away, the Imperial Guard commander sighed. A crown prince ended up in such a situation just because of a demonic girl. It's sad and lamentable. That demonic girl is said to be the holy maiden of the great Yan dynasty. She was born with a vision and was extremely beautiful according to rumors. The top echelons of the various demonic sects and the Taoist sects all wanted to marry her. It is understandable that our prince would be captivated, the deputy commander said. That may be the case. But he should have been next on the throne, running the court and ruling the people. Not staying in the Cold Palace. The Imperial Guard commander said. That's true. The Crown Prince is gentle and courteous. He is extremely talented. With his royal bloodline, he has a promising future. It's just a pity that he is in this situation now. The deputy commander shook his head and lamented. You saw what happened to all the people that were sent to this Cold Palace in the past. The Imperial Guard commander sighed. Yes, this Cold Palace is infamous. The deputy commander could still remember the story of this place. 3 years ago, Imperial Consort Jia was banished to this Cold Palace after having interfered with politics. 3 months later, she became thin and emaciated. After constantly crying out loudly about injustice, she died. 10 years ago, the third prince was dissatisfied with the crown prince position falling into the hands of Lin Jufeng. He launched a coup with several major families and was sent to the Cold Palace. In less than 6 months, he cried until he died. 30 years later, His Majesty succeeded to the throne and placed his 3 brothers into the Cold Palace to suffer for 5 years. They died of depression. This Cold Palace had witnessed the losers of the royal struggle of the Yuha God dynasty, each of whom did not live long. Now, Lin Jufeng was banished to the Cold Palace. His future would probably not be good either. Lin Jufeng listened to the conversation between the commander and the deputy commander. He lifted his head to look at the huge Cold Palace. Is that how I will end up in the future? Lin Jufeng was unwilling. Sign in front of the Cold Palace. A line of words suddenly appeared before Lin Jufeng's eyes. His pupils shrank, but he was pleasantly surprised. A cheat. Although late, but better than never. Sign in. Lin Jufeng immediately responded. You have signed in front of the Cold Palace. Received ultimate heaven slashing sword skill. Another line of words appeared before him, and a complete supreme sword skill came to his mind. Can I sign in indefinitely? Lin Jufeng asked, surprised. You can sign in once a day. Signing in at different places produces different rewards. The more dangerous the place, the greater the reward. Some places can only be signed in once. Some places can be repeatedly signed in. But the rewards will gradually decrease. The explanatory words kept appearing in front of Lin Jufeng's eyes. His eyes were bright and clear, and the worry and fear in his heart instantly disappeared. This is an extremely frightening world. Although I'm the crown prince, my cultivation was wiped out in the big prison. Thankfully, I am able to sign in silently in this cold palace. The most powerful of cultivators can bring down a country on their own. Some could tear the skies apart with their sword and pave their way to nirvana, and some could knock on the gates to nirvana with their sword. I am now rejected by millions. In that case, I might as well sign in here quietly until I am invincible, before going outside. As Lin Jufeng thought about his life going forward, his expression became indifferent. He turned to the Imperial Guard commander and said, I'm going in now, you may return. The Imperial Guard commander asked, dumbfounded, you're actually going in on your own accord? In front of the cold palace, regardless of who it was, they would cry and wail and refuse to go in. In the end, the guards would have to carry them in. Who would take the initiative to enter like Lin Jufeng? Lin Jufeng laughed and asked, if I stall for time, can I not go in? Now that he had no cultivation and was disliked by the court and commoners of the Yuha God dynasty. No matter how big this world was, the only place he could go was this cold palace. The Imperial Guard commander was speechless. He could only cup his fist and say, I will take my leave after you have gone inside. It didn't matter to Lin Jufeng. He straightened his clothes and crown, then he pushed open the dusty door. Creak. This door had not been opened for a long time. Dust came falling down as the door was being pushed open. When it was opened, the courtyard was overgrown with weeds. The snakes, insects, and rodents were startled by sudden disturbance. The state of the courtyard was indescribably bad. Although this cold palace is very big, and was quite highly ranked in the imperial capital of the Yuha God dynasty, there is not a single servant or maid here. It's no wonder that everyone who was sent here became crazy and died before long, Lin Jufeng lamented. If he didn't receive the ability to sign in, he wasn't sure how long he could have lasted in this place. But now, with his mind at peace, he felt that these trivial details weren't that important. But now, with his mind at peace, he felt that these were not important. He stepped into the cold palace, and closed its door calmly under the gazes of the Imperial Guard and Deputy Commander. Boom! The sound of the cold palace's door closing was dull and loud. Once closed, it would be difficult to open this door in the future. The Imperial Guard commander spoke up, let's go. It will be hard for the dethroned prince to get out from here in his lifetime. I will arrange for someone to deliver his meals. After all, he's the first person to walk in on his own accord, and a dethroned prince at that. His personality is also good anyway, so he has to eat well every day, the deputy commander said to the commander. You can make the necessary arrangements. It won't affect anyone anyway. The commander shook his head, and led his men to return. The deputy commander saw a powerful young man, who was full of grandeur, in the team. It has not been a long time since he had been selected into the team. Knowing this, the former shouted, from now on, you will provide meals for the dethroned prince. 3 meals a day. The food has to be good, understand? The newbie in the team was very honest. He nodded as he agreed. I will take good care of the dethroned prince. Chapter 2. Sign in Reward, Essence Cleansing Pill. The cold palace had been abandoned for a long time. The last time anyone was here was 3 years ago. There were cobwebs and weeds everywhere, and the air smelled of decay. Entering an inner room, he saw a few tables, chairs, and benches that had been bored through by the worms. They were already in a state of decay. The place certainly was in bad shape. But Lin Jufeng didn't care about this. He found a relatively clean step and sat down. Closing his eyes, he began to check out the ultimate heaven-slashing sword skill mentally. After signing in, the full version of the ultimate heaven slashing sword skill appeared in Lin Jufeng's mind. The first step of the ultimate heaven slashing sword skill was to wipe out one's existing cultivation to form a sword body. My cultivation has been wiped out. This is just right for practicing the ultimate heaven slashing sword skill. Lin Jufeng's eyes lit up and he meditated cross-legged, which was the first step in practicing the ultimate heaven slashing sword skill. Sword body. It would be very difficult for ordinary people to cultivate the ultimate heaven slashing sword skill. However, for Lin Jufeng, it was something he got when he signed in. It was very easy for him to cultivate it. He had no difficulties at all. He spent the first day cultivating the ultimate heaven slashing sword skill after entering the Cold Palace, directly breaking through foundation establishment and creating a sword body in his Dantian 1 energy center of the body. My predecessor was a prince who had cultivated since childhood. He had countless resources, but it still took him 3 months to reach foundation establishment for the very first step of cultivation. The skill I got from signing in is really easy to comprehend. Lin Jufeng thought to himself in delight. Upon the arrival of the night, moonlight cascaded upon the ground like a waterfall. Lin Jufeng wanted to continue the momentum of his cultivation akin to striking the iron while it was hot. But someone knocked on the door of Cold Palace, shouting, "Your Royal Highness Jufeng, I brought you food." Lin Jufeng had no choice but to stop cultivating. Since his cultivation had been wiped out, the imperial guards knew that they had to arrange food to be delivered to him. After all, they weren't allowed to let him starve to death. But they had no idea that Lin Jufeng had already rebuilt his cultivation foundation after just a single day. With his current cultivation, he could live for 10 or more days without any sustenance at all. Walking to the door of the Cold Palace, Lin Jufeng saw a small hole blocked by a stone. The person outside said, "Your Royal Highness Jufeng, move this stone away, and I will pass you the food." Lin Jufeng did as he asked. A hot meal with meat and vegetables was passed through the hole. Lin Jufeng was taken aback. "I get to have such good food." The person outside the door laughed. "Although you have been dethroned, you are still the prince. The commander has ordered me to arrange better food for you." Lin Jufeng smiled. "Thank your commander for me." The person outside said, "Have your meal. I will come again tomorrow. 3 meals a day, I promise not to be late." Lin Jufeng wanted to tell him that he did not need to send food, but the person outside the door had already left. Lin Jufeng had no choice but to eat his first meal since arriving in this world. After eating, he continued in his cultivation, not wanting to delay for even a moment. The initial steps of cultivation were Qi training and foundation establishment. It was only after the completion of Qi training, and after foundation establishment could he move on to becoming an acquired cultivator, innate cultivator, golden core cultivator, grandmaster, great grandmaster, martial sage, and finally human god. Innate cultivators were able to take on 10,000 enemies, golden core cultivators could suppress an army that was 1,000,000 strong. Grandmasters could suppress a city, and great grandmasters could go up against an entire country. As for martial sages, each of them was in existence with unimaginable power. Human gods were even more powerful. Lin Jufeng was only in the realm of Qi training and foundation establishment. He was still too weak. He had to continue working hard. Practice silently, sign in silently, do not create trouble or any waves, and develop steadily. Anyway, I'm alone now and have been removed from the position of Crown Prince. I can stay here peacefully and just continuously sign in. Lin Jufeng thought silently. On his first night in the Cold Palace, Lin Jufeng meditated cross-legged all night, increasing his cultivation realm substantially. There were 9 levels for Qi training and 15 levels for foundation establishment. Lin Jufeng reached the 3rd level of foundation establishment overnight. He had no difficulties cultivating the ultimate heaven slashing sword skill that he received from signing in at all. Early in the next morning, Lin Jufeng opened his eyes and the first thing he did was to sign in. "Do you want to sign in before the steps inside the Cold Palace?" "Sign in," Lin Jufeng said without hesitation. "Sign in successful. Received 1 essence cleansing pill. Sign in can be repeated here until the sign in effect disappears." The next two lines of words that appeared one after another made Lin Jufeng happy. Essence cleansing pill, this is a good thing. Only a master of alchemy can refine it. It costs a few thousand silver in Yuha God dynasty. A pure white pill suddenly appeared in Lin Jufeng's hand, and he swallowed it immediately. It just so happens that my cultivation was wiped out, and my body needs to be cleansed. Lin Jufeng immediately began to cultivate. 2 hours later, when the sun rose, Lin Jufeng had completely digested the essence cleansing pill. His cultivation rocketed to the 5th level of foundation establishment. He wanted to continue cultivating, but the morning food delivery person came. When Lin Jufeng took the delivered food, he said, "From now on, it's enough to deliver it once every 7 days. You don't have to come so frequently. Don't you know you are disturbing my cultivation? Won't your highness be hungry like this?" asked the honest imperial guard outside the door. "I'm cultivating to rebuild my foundation, don't worry." Lin Jufeng replied honestly. He was not lying. After his cultivation was wiped out, it was not out of the ordinary for him to cultivate and rebuild his foundation. "Okay, I'll come back in 7 days and bring something delicious for you, your highness." The honest imperial guard agreed. Satisfied, Lin Jufeng ate his breakfast and continued to cultivate. He can sign in peace for 7 days and cultivate during that 7 days, before eating another delicious meal. Such a quiet and beautiful routine was perfect for Lin Jufeng. After delivering breakfast, the honest imperial guard went back to report to his deputy commander. His Royal Highness said that it would be enough to send food every 7 days in the future. He's cultivating to rebuild his foundation and doesn't want to be disturbed. The deputy commander shook his head and said, "Even if His Royal Highness is a well-known genius in the dynasty, he can't defy the heavens and rise again after his cultivation was wiped out. He can at most enter the ranks of acquired cultivators. Forget it, let him be. Just send him food every 7 days in the future." Yes, the honest imperial guard cupped his fists and accepted the order. After he was dethroned and banished to the cold palace, the tumultuous incident came to an end. No one mentioned the prince who was once a peerless genius again. The entire Yuha God dynasty began to compete for the new title of crown prince. No one cared about Lin Jufeng who was in the cold palace. Of course, Lin Jufeng didn't need them to care. He continued to cultivate quietly and signed in regularly. For 7 days in a row, Lin Jufeng signed in on this step. He sat cross-legged here every day without going anywhere else. 7 days later, Lin Jufeng broke through and entered the ranks of acquired cultivators. This was the highest realm that Lin Jufeng could possibly reach according to the Deputy Imperial Guard commander. After Lin Jufeng broke through, the honest Imperial Guard once again came to deliver food. Lin Jufeng moved the stone away and took the delivered food. There was even wine and meat, the meal sure was extravagant and good. Lin Jufeng couldn't help but ask, "What is your name?" "My name is Dakin. That's what everyone calls me." Honest Dakin replied. "Okay, see you in 7 days. Lin Jufeng was in a good mood and laughed as he spoke. When Dakin heard Lin Jufeng's laughter, he asked curiously, "Your Highness is in a good mood?" "Well, I remembered something to be happy about," Lin Jufeng replied. He picked up the dish of wine and meat, sat on the steps, and began to enjoy the meal. After a satisfying meal of food and alcohol, Lin Jufeng looked at the dirty environment he was in. "It's time to make a room out of this. I can't keep staying outside," Lin Jufeng muttered. Without hesitation, Lin Jufeng cleaned up the courtyard near the gate of the cold palace. The ground was densely covered with weeds. Using a branch as a sword, Lin Jufeng drew his sword and began chopping. Clang! In an instant, sword energy proliferated. Sharp sword energies erupted and directly uprooted the weeds. Vines and poisonous snakes were also wiped out under Lin Jufeng's sword energy. After all the work, the room was finally cleaned up. Lin Jufeng let out a long breath. Finally a proper place to live in. Lin Jufeng sighed. If nothing happened, he would have to stay here for a long time. It would be nice to create a quiet environment for himself. After cleaning the courtyard, Lin Jufeng found a well. The well that was previously covered and hidden by weeds could now be seen. This well was covered with a well cap and was sealed tightly. Lin Jufeng walked over, but a line of words appeared in front of his eyes. Sign in at ominous well. Lin Jufeng was shocked. Ominous well. What does that mean? Sign in. Lin Jufeng still agreed. He hadn't signed in for the day yet. Signed in successfully. Received magic treasure, demon slaying sword. In the very next moment, a purple longsword appeared in front of Lin Jufeng. Although the longsword was sealed in the scabbard with its blade covered, the chilling cold air it emanated still struck Lin Jufeng, giving him the chills. Just in time. It just so happens that my ultimate heaven-slashing sword skill has also entered the next stage and I need to practice using the sword. Lin Jufeng took the demon-slaying sword and injected true qi into it. Zing zing zing. The demon-slaying sword trembled and emanated a joyful sound that reverberated in the area. Then, it transformed into a stream of light that entered Lin Jufeng's body. Lin Jufeng could clearly feel that the demon-slaying sword was powerful and had a special damage bonus against evil demons. After he was done signing in, Lin Jufeng looked at the sealed well. What's in the well? Lin Jufeng opened the well cap but found nothing. The water was clear and had few impurities. Not being able to find anything, Lin Jufeng fetched some water to wash. Then, he cultivated in the room. The well was then covered by Lin Jufeng. 3 years passed in a flash. For 3 years, Lin Jufeng had been signing in quietly inside the cold palace. Stuck in the cold palace and unable to leave, he continued to sign in inside his small courtyard. Signed in under the tree in the cold palace. Received Spring Pill Sutra. Signed in on the bed in the cold palace. Received 30 sets of dust-free suits. Signed in at the north gate of the cold palace. Received Sword 22. Signed in at the cold palace courtyard. Received the glorious dream of spring and autumn technique. Lin Jufeng repeatedly signed in on the steps for the essence cleansing pills. Before he exhausted the sign-in effect, he received hundreds of essence cleansing pills. Most of them were eaten by Lin Jufeng, who was now a powerful cultivator at an extremely high realm. However, he still had no intention of leaving. In these 3 years, he only moved around his small courtyard, which was at most a few hundred meters in size. The cold palace was huge and there were places that Lin Jufeng had yet to visit. But he had plans of exploring the other parts of the cold palace. In the past 3 years, Lin Jufeng did not take the initiative to inquire about the outside world. He had no idea about the current situation of the Yuha God dynasty. The person he met the most was Dakin. Dakin chatted with Lin Jufeng every time he came. And this was the only time Lin Jufeng spoke. But he didn't feel lonely. Instead, Lin Jufeng was content to see himself getting stronger and improving every day. In particular, Dakin told him a few days ago that the world outside was turbulent. The 18 sects of demonic cultivation had made their existence known, and powerful factions from overseas had started invading. Evil was running amok and several martial grandmasters had already perished in battle. Hearing that, Lin Jufeng immediately said that he would not go out. He would stay quietly in the cold palace, sign in, cultivate, and become stronger. On this day, Dakin came to deliver the meal again. Lin Jufeng was enjoying his wine, listening to the honest Dakin's words. Some were useful news, but most were insignificant matters. Once, Lin Jufeng asked Dakin why he talked to him about those insignificant matters. Da Chun replied, "There's no one in the cold palace to talk to your Royal Highness must be very bored. If I talk to your Royal Highness every time I come to deliver food, your Royal Highness might become happier." Lin Jufeng smiled warmly. He did not stop Dakin from telling him about these small matters. This time, when Dakin finished talking, he suddenly said, "Your Royal Highness, Your Majesty has announced the new Crown Prince today." Lin Jufeng was stunned. He asked, "Who is it?" He began to recall in his memory. Was it second brother, third brother, or fourth brother? Dakin replied, "It's the sixth prince. He defeated the other princes and became the crown prince." Sixth brother. Lin Jufeng was really shocked. The sixth prince and Lin Jufeng were born to the same consort. He was 5 years younger than Lin Jufeng and was talented and as outstanding as Lin Jufeng since he was a kid. The difference was that when Lin Jufeng was being trained to become a crown prince, the sixth prince was taken away by the royal family's clan experts. The sixth prince was very close to Lin Jufeng before he turned 5 years old. But after he was taken away he didn't see him again. He never expected to hear of his name from Dakan. It's the sixth prince. I heard that the sixth prince returned to the imperial capital half a year ago. His cultivation is at the innate cultivator realm. An innate cultivator before 20. Everyone said that he will become the next great grandmaster. Now that he's the crown prince, he's a source of great pressure on the other princes, Da Chun said. An innate cultivator before he turned 20. Lin Jufeng raised his brows. Not bad. It wasn't just, not bad. Dakan asked cautiously, Your Royal Highness, are you upset? No, I'm okay. You may not know, but the sixth prince is my real brother. Why would I be upset? Lin Jufeng smiled. He was now living a wonderful life every day, why would he care about the crown prince position? Being the crown prince was stressful. He would have no time for cultivation, and he also had a great responsibility to handle. It was unlike Lin Jufeng's current lifestyle. Your Royal Highness, I should take my leave. I will talk to you again next time. Dakan stood up and said goodbye. Lin Jufeng passed the empty plates to him and looked at the huge cold palace. Let's sign in at a different place today. Lin Jufeng got up and walked towards another compound area. The cold palace was huge. It had 3 layers inside and 3 layers outside. It had a lot of courtyards, not just one. Lin Jufeng spent the last 3 years just outside in a small courtyard near the gate. Today, he was heading inside. As he stepped onto the threshold of the first enclosure, a line appeared in front of Lin Jufeng's eyes. Do you want to sign in at the threshold of the inner wall of the cold palace? Sign in, Lin Jufeng said. Sign in successful. Received the core condensing pill. Sign in can be repeated here until the sign in effect disappears. Lin Jufeng smiled. What a pleasant surprise. It knows that I am already a golden core cultivator and it gave me a core condensing pill.